This one turned out pretty good. Hello you guys, welcome to the video. My name is Caroline if you're new here, and we are currently in my small businesses studio. I am a 20-year-old girly just trying to figure it out, period. I am gonna be completely 100% honest with y'all, and this video was not supposed to be me sitting down talking to the camera. I filmed my morning coffee and then I was just gonna vlog what I had going on at work, and I honestly thought I was gonna have more things to vlog, but in the middle of everything I had to bring my car to the shop to have a routine service, and that just took too long and basically ran out of things to film, and the day is getting away from me super quickly. Just kind of decided to cancel what I was originally gonna film and just like do some stuff. I just posted a bunch of stuff on Depop, and not only that, but I just haven't felt good today, like positive today. I have been having a really weird and strange day, and I've kind of had the idea of talking about what I'm going to talk about for a while, but I haven't had the like feeling like I need to talk about it. But today I'm like, I need to express this to someone. Like I just feel so lonely, and that's basically what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how I got here and why do I feel so lonely a lot of the time. I don't know if I'm actually going to end up posting this. We'll see. So let me give you some backstory of me, I guess, my life. I graduated high school a semester early, specifically so that I could work on my business. I had started getting senioritis, or like the need to be done with high school, sophomore year. I just remember that's when I started working on my business, and that's when I started realizing that nothing I was doing in school was applicable to what I wanted to actually do, which was something with vintage clothing and reselling and possibly social media and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm over this. How can I get out of here as quickly as possible? I found out that if I took like a couple extra classes, I could get done with high school a semester early, and I did that. That was awesome for me because I felt like I had those extra months to get into a working routine. I went to work every day, no matter if I stayed only for a couple hours. I remember at that time, it was really hard for me to have the like drive to work for 5+ hours a day. So I would go to the warehouse and do a couple things for like 3 or 4 hours and then go home. But I knew since I had literally never entered the workforce in my life, it was gonna take a long time to get used to that, and especially because I was making my own schedule. Yeah, so that was what I was working out for those like 6 months while all of my friends were in school and I was working on my business. I was just trying to figure out how to make it work for me. And then during that 6 months, I kind of already knew I wasn't really planning on going to college, or at least not like a university. But let's just say I had no idea how that decision would impact my life up to now. I did end up taking a couple like online classes through HCC, the community college here, but they were strictly online classes, and they were like not even classes. Like it wasn't like you meet with people either. It was like completely remote. You just did it according to like deadlines. And I did kind of learn from those. Like I learned basic entrepreneur like terms and accounting and like kind of like very minimal definitions basically of things and how they kind of work. But because they didn't like add anything to my life except for take time out of my day, because I did have to do a lot of reading, like read a textbook pretty much online and take these like busy work quizzes and whatever. So I didn't like how it was mostly busy work and it like didn't actually really teach me anything. Like I learned some definitions, but that's pretty much it. Like I could have just looked that up and not paid for a whole class. So I was like, this is pointless. I'm not gonna do any more classes. So I didn't. And then what I was left with was just working on my business every day. And at this time, I was doing the vintage markets on the weekends, and that was really my only human interaction ever, besides like hanging out with my family throughout the week. And I'm very lucky I get to work with my mom here too. So I do see people throughout the week pretty consistently, but not people outside of my family. And the markets was the only time that I would see other people. And eventually, it took a while, but I think honestly because I was so shy, I've always been a very shy person. And it took me a long time of doing markets to like break out of my shell and actually talk to the other vendors. And then eventually we all became friends. I love my vendor friends. We've been so fortunate enough to hang out with them outside of just vending, and that has always been super fun. Yeah, so my vendor friends and like 1 or 2 friends from high school are like honestly my only friends. And I'm talking about all of this to get to the point of that I have isolated myself on accident, and lately I have been really feeling that. Let me move locations. So yeah, I'm going through this period in my life where I'm realizing that I have accidentally isolated myself and I just kind of don't know what to do about it. And I also wanted to touch on the subject of having social anxiety. My shyness and my introvertedness has really come to bite me in the ass. And I just always wish that I could have come out of my shell way sooner. I'm a little bit strange in the sense where I simultaneously feed off of hanging out with positive people, and like sometimes I hang out with friends and I feel so energized after. I can feel the endorphins flooding my brain because I had human interaction. And then some days I hang out with people and I literally need to take a nap. Like I feel so drained, and it can be the same people. It's not like those people that I was hanging out with were draining. It was that I just felt like talking to other people was too much for me that day. And it's really hard to balance this because literally just a couple days ago, I was perfectly fine on my own. I was really content. I was working on my own all day. When my boyfriend asks, how did your day go? I'm like, I had a phenomenal day because I was on my own and I was just doing whatever I wanted. And then the very next day, I'm like, I come to work and I'm like, I am so alone. No one's here. My mom's next door, but I don't talk to her all day long. She's working too. And I feel like I have no one to talk to. And the friends that I do talk to online, they also work. So I can't be like talking to them all day long. It's almost like I wish I had someone that has my exact job that they don't mind me texting them all day long. When I can't have that, whenever I feel like I need it, I feel very closed off and like I'm just in my own little bubble with no one else to talk to. That's what it feels like. And I don't know. This is just, I feel like I'm just ranting, but this has been such a big thing for me recently, almost to the point where I've debated, should I go to college? Like, should I go to college simply to make connections? Is it worth the money and the time and the effort? I don't think it is, if that's not what I want to do overall. But then there's another thing is where I also have been feeling like I'm not learning enough new things. One, because I don't have enough new people in my life, but two, because I'm just not learning many new things. Like I honestly should be reading more than I do. And when I do read, I like to read fiction a lot of the time. So it's like, am I learning something new about the world? No. But then a lot of times I don't want to learn anything new. Like I'm not in the mood to learn something new. I just want to like be entertained. And then that's my problem. I'm like an iPad baby. Like I need to be entertained all the time. And it's like this cycle of me kicking myself in the butt because I'm not learning something new, and then also me working at my little job all day and I'm tired, and by the end of the day I'm like, I'm not gonna go and read some informative book. I'm gonna go watch YouTube or like read my fiction book. So lately I've been wondering, is college also a good idea because I would be forced to learn? I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it worth just the need to be learning something new? Of course, my only schooling experience similar to college would be high school, really. And in high school, once I stopped caring about class, I wasn't learning anything new because everything was going in one ear and out the other long enough for me to take a test and pass it. And then as soon as I took the test, I did not remember anything that we learned because I just didn't care. I didn't want to be learning that stuff. It wasn't interesting to me. So it's like, where can I learn about things that I'm interested in? Because the other thing about college is that you have to take all of these classes that are like required for your whatever you're studying for, your major. So I could be studying entrepreneurship, but then I have to take a history class and a obscure math class that actually I don't need any of that math, but I have to take it anyways. You know what I mean? And that concept always bothered me because those classes are very expensive, and you know, you have to get the whole loan out, the whole thing. And I'm like, do I really want to be messing with all of that when it's going to take up so much of my valuable time to do these extra classes that I don't care about and I'm probably not going to learn very much from? If anyone watching has been in this position where they're trying to decide whether or not to go, and maybe you went and you found it worth it or not, let me know, because I just don't know. So anyways, that's another reason I started my YouTube channel, is I felt like I needed occasionally an outlet to speak to people, to have some kind of human connection beyond just a couple clips on Instagram or a couple stories on Instagram or whatever. Like I needed to be able to have a way to reach new people if I don't really know how to do that in my everyday life. And it's also become a little bit harder since we moved out of the city. We used to live in an apartment very close to downtown Houston, and there's always a lot of things to do around there. Like I used to to be bouldering a lot because it was like literally 15 minutes away from my house. And we got to know the people that we saw there all the time, but then we moved away and our bouldering gym is like 30-40 minutes away from my house now, so I'm not going to be doing that all the time. And I'm not 21, so I can't go to any bars and meet people that way. Like, how else do people meet these days? Beyond the markets that I do, I just don't know how I meet other people. So that's another thing I really like about YouTube. And even when like people comment on my videos, like that in itself feels like someone reaching out to me and taking a little time out of their day to say something to me. And that fulfills a little bit of my need to speak to new people. I would love to start conversations that are meaningful and that I learn from. That's something I hope that this YouTube channel can provide for me in my life and for others to learn from as well. I don't want to leave y'all on a negative note, so let me talk about what I'm going to try to do moving forward to help mitigate this issue. First of all, I was Googling, as one does, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel lonely? And something that came up was perhaps I'm not as comfortable being alone with myself as I thought I was. And like I said earlier, it's very wishy-washy for me. Some days I'm okay with it, and some days I'm like, holy crap, I need to speak to another person or I'm gonna explode. I feel like my brain is like literally just can't handle itself today. I think to help this issue, one, decreasing my phone time would really help. I think when I no longer feel comfortable being alone with myself, I scroll so much on Instagram for absolutely no reason. And then of course, while I'm scrolling, I'm seeing other people and what they're doing and their successes and whatever. And I can't even explain to you how much comparison has taken over my life. I feel like it used to be way worse when I was a little younger, but I'm slowly kicking that habit of comparing myself to people online. I feel like everyone is on that journey right now because that is always bad for my self-esteem. Do not need that. I try my best to unfollow people that I find myself comparing myself to. That's one thing. Minimizing the amount of time I'm letting myself scroll on my phone instead of doing what I know I should be doing. And I think I distract myself way too much instead of actually dealing with my emotions at hand and whatever I need to be doing and yada yada yada. So that's one thing. And I think I do try to be very good at this already, but making multiple days a month at least to hang out with my friends. Just really making that a priority for me, because sometimes it's not and sometimes it is, and sometimes when it is a priority for me, I feel guilty for like sacrificing work or yada yada yada. But when that's not true, like what should come first is my mental health and whatever I feel like I need to be fulfilled in my life at this point. So as far as like the learning thing, I still haven't decided what avenue I want to go down. I do think once I finish the series I'm reading right now, I'm reading the ACOTAR series, so you know I have to finish that before I do anything else. But I think starting to incorporate more informative books in my life, perhaps alongside a fiction book, would be really beneficial for me. Because I used to do that, but then I kind of fell off and it got boring to me and I was like, I can't do it. But I know I can, and I know I can find a book that I actually find interesting. So I think I'm gonna do that. If y'all have any books that are entrepreneurship related, business related, self-improvement related, even clothing related perhaps, let me know down below. I think that is gonna be it for me today. I just really needed to rant about this, and perhaps if anyone else is out there in the same position as me where you feel a little bit isolated, a little bit lonely, I am feeling the same things. I know that this is not gonna be forever, and I'm literally a baby. I'm 20 years old, so I will adapt. I will meet new people. I have literally my whole life to meet new people and create relationships. I'm not like freaking out, but occasionally I do freak out. Occasionally I'm like, what am I doing? What's happening? And that's kind of why I feel like I needed to talk about this today, is because I was getting to that point, and honestly this rant has made me feel better. So if you related to this, perhaps leave a comment down below. Subscribe. I feel like my YouTube is going to be a very long, perhaps coming of age story. To what age we're talking about, I have literally no idea. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me. Have a wonderful, beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one.